like, what do you need to even have a lawsuit? Like, what basis? You just have to have like a little bit of the truth, and then if it's a high profile individual, there are some attorneys that will
Once
say,
once
well,
again, Ariel Mitchell has tried to go after Chris Brown. She has tried to go after Trey Songz on multiple occasions. People have come forward and said that she paid them to lie, allegedly. She's got about as many cases as Tyrone Blackburn does. And in my opinion, I think Tyrone Blackburn is another one of these lawyers that they hire to go and get real cases and real victims and botch their cases intentionally. In my opinion, I think that's what they do. Don't forget, he made a big splash during Diddy's trial as well with the Fat Joe Rock Nation lawsuit, and then ended up getting served himself and running over a process server. So now all of his cases is just up in the air. Cases against TD Jakes, cases against Diddy, cases against Fat Joe, cases against Rock Nation. Like, this is all interesting, isn't it? But that big homie CC thing, that's really interesting. Because it was that night there in Vegas that he told me that I was going to be sued, that I was going to be in a lawsuit. And I said, no, I'm not. There's nothing for anyone to sue me for. I haven't done anything wrong, and whatever I did wrong in my younger years, statute of limitation long since passed up. There's no way for anyone to sue me of anything. So how funny is it that that night that picture was taken there, Cam Capone. Oh, and by the way, Cam, fuck you, bitch. Keep my name out of your mouth, you white piece of shit. I'm curious. They so desperately needed to have me sit down with that man, that cop or that wannabe cop, that private investigator who tried to lure me to Mexico on a finding victims mission.
oh,
Yeah, the big homie.
sounds like scenes from a movie. God damn,
Scenes from a movie.
it's wow.
Scenes from my life. Can't even begin to talk about the John Doe and the Jane Doe that ain't nobody seen hide nor hair of. What I did hear though was is that that Jane Doe and John Doe that for whatever reason had the same details as Ashley Parham. Because see, at one point in time in Ashley Parham's testimony, she came forward and said that she saw the big bodyguard struggling with Diddy, and then the firearm went off, and then the guy yoked up Diddy and all of this and all of that. Because she testified to that herself on her News Nation interview with Banfield. But it's funny because when the Jane Doe and John Doe came in and they were introduced, and Ariel Mitchell brought them into that lawsuit in February, a week after I got the Defender of Freedom Award at Mar-a-Lago, by the way. All of a sudden, they had to come in and give testimony because she was incapacitated and didn't remember everything that happened. So if she didn't remember everything that happened, how was she able to give that very detail? The only difference was, is they said it was Big Homie CC that was the bodyguard that was struggling with Diddy, and the pow went off and all of that. But they said she was incapacitated. So if she was incapacitated, how the fuck did she remember it to disclose it in an interview 4 months before they came into the lawsuit?
Hey,
That's wild, isn't it?
hey,
And then after they came forward with all of their admissions, this Jane Doe and John Doe that have yet to be uncovered, Ariel Mitchell dropped them as clients. But you left the testimony there. You drop them as clients, but you keep their testimony. And then when people started coming forward, like Drewski, like me, asking to be removed from the lawsuit because it was all lies, which, by the way, I am the only person that was added to that lawsuit that has an airtight alibi. When Drewski asked to be removed and came forward with his evidence, saying, oh no, because I got cell phone records that can prove that it wasn't me, woo woo, yada, yada, yada. Arielle Mitchell tripled down and fought that the testimony was accurate and that he should not be removed from the lawsuit. But a week after Diddy was sentenced, her and the other attorney of record, Sean R. Perez, asked to be relieved as legal. And now the case is dismissed because Ashley Parham can't find an attorney that wants to represent her anymore after they made a mockery of that case. And by the way, that case was filed like 3 weeks after Diddy got arrested. Matter of fact, it was one of the first cases that came out to the media that just poof. Oh my God! He did what to her with a remote control? I'll never forget Murad Morelli and his testimony. Oh my God! You want to know what his commentary is sounding like now that the case has been dismissed? Actually, babes, to me, it sounds like you've been lying. It sounds like either you've been lying or you've been pressured and somebody did this. But whatever it is, you need to come evicted.
Hmm.
Isn't that interesting? What a difference a year makes.
Jeez.
It's wild because a lot of these cases that came forward that got the biggest noise are apparently the cases that are being dismissed. Meanwhile, the rest of the real victims' cases are being shrouded in secrecy and hidden from actually getting real coverage. Why would that be unless the propaganda machine's entire job was to make sure that they created as much disbelief with the public so that they would never believe any of the real stories when the real stories were finally coming forward.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, you gotta look.
Like Diddy said in the beginning of that damn documentary, we need to have a spokesman. We need comms. We gotta find somebody, whether in this country or another, someone who's dealt with the dirtiest of dirty in media and propaganda.
So,
Wouldn't it be interesting if one of the biggest parts of their propaganda machine to make the public disbelieve everything that I've been saying all of this year was to try to find a way to consistently and repeatedly discredit me? Wouldn't
yeah,
that be interesting?
hey,
You want to know what else would be interesting? If I found out who the Jane Doe and John Doe actually are.
that would be highly interesting. That'll be on a level.
Hmm?